In this Ben Franklin exercise, you'll first hear a short conversation. Then there will be an in-depth analysis of the pronunciation. First, the conversation.
Do you want to know what it is?
Part of the reason why I chose this clip is because a student asked for it in the academy. If you ever have a clip that you want to recommend for a Hollywood video, please let me know. The requirements are that there's not a whole lot of background music. Best is when the speech is very clear with no background music. Also, a standard American accent. I chose this one from The Matrix, even though it's not quite a standard American accent, because I want to show why it's not standard. Some of the things that this man does is what many students do in order to try to be perfect with their American English. But it's not conversational. It's a little bit robotic, and even though this guy wants to be robotic because of his character, it's not conversational and it doesn't sound right with non-native speakers. So let's jump right in. Here's the whole conversation.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Do you want to know what it is?
Do you want to know? Do you want to know? Okay, a couple things I notice here. Do you. He does not reduce these two words. Do you want to know? Do you want to know? That would be a little more conversational. It's okay that he doesn't. It doesn't sound wrong. It's good because he still makes them quickly. Do you want to know? So he still stresses want and makes do you very fast. Do you want to know?
Do you want to know?
Want to know. And he does do a reduction here. He links the two words with just one T and reduces to the schwa.
Want to know. Want to know.
Now, of course, most Americans in conversation would say wanna. Do you want to know? Do you want to know? He doesn't do that. He says want to, which is also okay. It's still pretty conversational. Do you want to know?
Want to know. Want to know. Do you want to know what it is?
What it is. Okay, now here's where we really get away from conversational English. What it is. These two true T's, they make it sound robotic. It is very unnatural. Even an American in a formal situation, giving a speech, speaking to important people, would make those flaps. What it is. What it is. When he says what it is, with those t, 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 t.
What it is. What it is.
It changes the sound. It changes the feeling. This is what he wants to do for the character he's developed here, but it's not what you want to do in natural conversational English. What it is versus what it is.
What it is. What it is. The Matrix is everywhere.
The Matrix is everywhere. Okay, so here there's nothing crazy like those true T's that make it sound robotic. It's a pretty natural sentence.
The Matrix is everywhere.
I do think that his stressed syllables are coming out even more stressed. It's a little dramatic. The Matrix is everywhere. And I like that. When he exaggerates the stressed syllables, it's even more clear for studying.
The matrix is everywhere. The matrix is everywhere.
The matrix is everywhere. All linked together. Ending Z here, strengthened by linking into a beginning vowel, eh. The matrix is everywhere.
The matrix is everywhere. The matrix is everywhere.
Notice how his last word here, the last syllable, everywhere, is really quiet. Where? Compare that with the word matrix.
Matrix, matrix, matrix.
A really big difference in volume and intensity, isn't it? At the end of sentences, our voice really loses some energy and some volume. This is good, natural American English.
The matrix is everywhere. The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room.
It is all around us. Okay, now here he does a flap T. Instead of it is, like he did on the previous screen, he flaps it. It is, it is.
It is, it is, it is all around us.
Though it would be even more natural, even more conversational, to make that a contraction. It's all around us. Again, this is not just conversational English, but English you would use in a business context and so on. We use contractions all the time. By not ever using contractions, he's putting on a stylized kind of accent.
It is all around us.
All around us. It is all around us. All, the most stressed word there. And all of the words in this sentence are linked together. The energy goes up to all, and then it falls away from all. It is all around us. A big curve up and down in the voice, in the pitch, in the energy.
It is all around us. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room.
I think it's a subtle difference here, but when he says, even now.
Even now, even now, even now.
Now, even now. So his word is a little bit longer and his voice doesn't fall off in pitch. He keeps it steady, forward, long. Again, that makes it sound a little bit robotic. It doesn't have the falling off pitch, even now, that I might expect in a phrase like that. Even now, in this very room. Even now, in this very room.
Even now, in this very room.
You see how it's a little bit slower, and that exaggerated length makes it sound a little bit more robotic.
Even now, in this very room.
In this very room. So again, even pacing. Short syllables and words aren't as short as I would expect them to be in natural English.
Even now, in this very room.
Even now, in this very room. I do like how everything is connected. That is still very natural. And he doesn't put a break here, even though I wrote it with a comma. Everything is smoothly linked together.
Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window.
You can see it. Okay, so we do have a reduction here. Can. You can see it.
You can.
Now, if he hadn't reduced the word can, it would just sound so strange. And I know he already does sound a little strange. He's sounding a little strange on purpose. But the fact that he chooses, even in this characterization, not to fully pronounce can is a sign how important it is to reduce it. How normal that is.
You can see it when you look out your window.
See it. Now he does do a stop T here. He doesn't release it as a true T. You can see it when. See it. You can see it when you look out your window. Look out your window. I hear a very light kind of true T here and out. Look out.
Look out.
It's not a very clear true T, but it's not a CH, which I might expect oucher. Making that T a CH is something that we would very often do in conversation when it's followed by you or your.
You can see it when you look out your window.
Your window, your window. Also, he doesn't reduce the word your. Most Americans in conversation, we would reduce that to the schwa R. He doesn't do it. Your. He keeps the full vowel in there. Look out your window.
Your window, your window, look out your window.
Not very conversational, a little strange, a little robotic.
You can see it when you look out your window.
Window, window. Intonation clearly goes up in pitch.
Window, window, window.
He's pausing, but he's not done. He has more to say here. He's going to keep going.
You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work.
Or when you turn on your television. Or fully pronounced. Most Americans would reduce that to the schwa. It doesn't bother me too much, though, because he does keep it nice and short. Or when. Or when.
Or when. Or when. Or when.
So compared to when, which is longer, a little bit bigger, it's nice and compact, nice and short. Or when. Or when.
Or when. Or when. Or when you turn on your television.
Also, your. I don't think it's reduced to your, but it is said very quickly. Your television. Or when you turn on your television. Or when you turn on your television.
Or when you turn on your television. Or when you turn on your television.
That's not very natural. What's natural is this. Or when you turn on your television. Now there we have some reductions. Those short words get even shorter, and it starts to feel more natural. Also, television, almost everyone would say TV. It's also a little bit awkward to not make that reduction.
You can feel it when you go to work.
He does a break here to stress the next word, feel. And even though he does this, again, he does reduce the word can. It's just so strange to not reduce the word can when it's a helping verb. Can, you can, you can. So make sure you're always reducing can in these situations when it's not the main verb. Here the main verb is feel.
You can feel it.
Feel it. Here he does release it as a true T rather than making it a stop. Because it's followed by a consonant, it would be very natural to make that as a stop.
Feel it. Feel it. Feel it when you go to work.
When you go to work. Okay, so the word you, he does not reduce it. He makes an U vowel. Most people would probably reduce that when you go to work. When you go to work. Not only that, most people would make this T a flap T. He doesn't do that. He makes it a true T. He does reduce the vowel, though, to the schwa. When you go to work. When you go to work.
When you go to work. When you go to work.
I'm going to say it once like him and once how I would say it, more naturally. See if you can hear the difference. When you go to work. 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 More natural, the second one. I'm reducing you to ya, and I'm definitely putting in a flap T. He's choosing not to. That's okay, of course. It's part of his characterization of this character he's playing.
When you go to work. When you go to church. When you pay your taxes.
When you go to church. Again, he doesn't reduce the word you. He makes that an U vowel, and he makes this a true T. Part of what makes him sound a little strange. Listen to him say it a couple times.
When you go to church. When you go to church. When you go to church.
More naturally, this would be when you go to church. 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 With you reduced and with a flap T between these vowels.
When you go to church. When you pay your taxes.
When you pay your taxes. I'm not actually sure if I'm hearing a reduction here or not. It's said very quickly, I do like that. So it's either the schwa R, your, or it's the aw vowel plus R, your. But he does say it quickly enough that it doesn't sound at all strange. The length is so short. That's what we want.
When you pay your taxes. When you pay your taxes.
Again, the end of the word taxes, so quiet. Listen to this word a few times.
Taxes. Taxes. Taxes.
He's almost whispering it at the end. I think he's going even further than conversational English here. He's doing this to be a little mysterious, and it is working. He seems pretty mysterious, doesn't he?
When you pay your taxes, it is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Oh, look, he does a flap T here. It is. Although most people would make that a contraction in conversational English, it's the world. It's the world. He says, it is. It is the world. World. Nice and long, little break, breaking up his thought groups. It is the world.
World. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes.
That has been pulled over. So I think he drops the H here. Doesn't it sound like it? And he makes a flap. That has. I don't know. Maybe he does say an H. It's actually a little bit hard to tell. It kind of sounds like there's an H, but then there wouldn't be a flap. That has been. He may be letting a very little escape of air out to make an H-like sound. But he's not really reducing vowels. Ah, that, and has sounds more like an a vowel than a schwa. That would be is. And I feel like I hear more of an as. That has been. Not reducing these two vowels does make the words just a little bit longer, does make them sound just a little less natural.
That has been pulled over your eyes.
Pulled over your eyes. Over your eyes. Now here I do hear a reduction. Your eyes. Your eyes.
Your eyes. Pulled over your eyes.
Pulled over your eyes. Stressing pulled and eyes.
Pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
To blind you. Very fast too. True T and the schwa. To blind. To blind. So he does do a reduction there.
To blind you from the truth.
Blind you from the truth. Blind and truth. A little bit longer there. A little more stressed.
To blind you from the truth.
You from the. Even though there are no reductions in these three words, they are said more quickly, and they are a little lower in pitch, so that they do sound pretty good as far as conversational English.
To blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo.
I really love the sound of the rain in the background. Isn't that nice? It really adds to the feeling of the scene.
What truth?
What truth? What truth? Stop T here. What? And truth. Pretty clear CHR sound instead of TR. Truth. What truth?
What truth?
And actually, the other speaker back here makes a CHR sound as well. Truth.
What truth? That you are a slave, Neo.
Okay, now that last line was very non-conversational, very choppy. That you are a slave, Neo.
That you are a slave, Neo.
Conversationally, it would be like this. That you're a slave. But instead it was this. That you are a slave. Light release of a T here, of a true T. No reduction in the vowel. That you. No reduction in the vowel here. The word R, not contracted. your. We would almost always contract that, your. And R would also almost always be reduced to And that is not what he did here. He said every word clearly and fully with a tiny little break in between.
That you are a slave, Neo.
A slave, a slave. He does make this a schwa. He doesn't say a slave, a slave, a slave.
A slave, a slave, a slave.
But it still sounds a little bit weird because it's not fully attached to the next word. A slave, a slave. Instead it's a slave, a slave.
A slave, Neo.
A slave, Neo. Stressing that word, that horrible word. A slave, Neo.
A slave, Neo.
So what this character is doing with his voice is interesting. It makes him seem different, mysterious. Especially a great example is this final sentence. All choppy, no reductions. But this is not what you want to do to sound conversational, to sound natural. You do want to use reductions. You do want to connect all your words without a lift in between.
That you are a slave, Neo. That you are a slave, Neo.
Let's listen to him speak one more time and really think about how he sounds different, how he sounds not conversational. And in this course, we're studying how to be conversational and how to have that natural American sound. Sometimes studying what it's not can help you find what it is.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo.